Hi guys, my name is Sandra Segarra. Welcome back to the Caribbean Dub, where I talk all things lifestyle behind the budget. Today I really want to talk about financial abuse. I've danced around this topic quite a bit. As in I've wanted to talk about it, but then I was like, no, people are gonna go, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about because I haven't been a victim of it. But I still wanted to talk about it. I read a report last year in the Irish Times where it said that calls to Women's Aid and other free phone call centres went up by over 40% during the time of COVID in 2020. And it just really shook me because on the other sense they were saying as well that because of COVID and because of the virus, these refuge centers where victims were able to go to, they had to lower the amount of people that they can take. They had to lower that by 25%. So can you imagine it? Can you imagine the numbers? If 69,000 was what usually rings in a year, that went up to like 100 and say 9,000 and 130,000 say, and like less. So that's after going up with only like 20 or 15%. 15,000 of these people can actually go and get refuge when they need it, and we're all told to stay away. And I couldn't help but thinking, how privileged was I to not want to talk about this, because it might seem a little bit controversial when somebody's actually going through it. So I couldn't not. We talk about financial well-being. I'm all about your financial well-being. I'm all about how it affects your mind, body and soul. And there I am not speaking about an abusive situation because it doesn't affect my mind, body and soul, or nobody is restricting money from me, or I'm not in the incapable hands of financial abuse, you know. And what is financial abuse or economic abuse? This is where it's a domestic abuse situation where the abuser withhold money from the victim, or actually stops them from acquiring money also. This could be loads of different ways, and I'm going to go through a few of them because maybe these might be triggers for yourself, or you might realize that somebody that you know is going through something. And maybe we won't downplay these situations because this is a real life traumatic situation, and you could imagine right now the actual mental well-being of somebody going through this. This is for me, and the reading and the research, and I've been doing it just feels like this is the gateway to all the other abuses, because it's a way of the abuser to gain control over somebody. And it's just shocking. And I'm not saying as well that it's only women that get abused, but the figures show that we are more likely, we're like strength wise, we're going to be weaker, you know, species when it comes to that situation. But so I'm going to focus on, because I'm a woman and we do need to talk about it, I'm going to focus on this. And I got a lot of information from Women's Aid as well, so and from their website. So I thought it was really informative, and I thought this is something that is really worth talking about. So if you see this, or you're in the middle of this right now, this might be something that would hopefully this will be a trigger, and this might be something that makes you say, okay, this is actually not normal, this is actually not right. You know, maybe this might plant a seed of empowerment within you, that you might say, you know what, I'm actually going to leave. I'm actually going to get away from this situation because I can do better, I'm worth better, and I'm a queen, and I need to accept that fact. And sometimes when you're in the middle of something, you think that the storm will never end, and it's that fear factor as well. And I hope maybe one person watching this might go, no, I don't want this anymore. And just know that when you reach out your hand for help, that somebody will help you, you know. It's not just something that people are out there talking about and saying they won't. Somebody really will help you. This just reminds me of a story, and I've told this on my Instagram, where when I was younger, I went to a friend's house and they were talking about money, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have my credit union loans, I'm gonna do this, blah blah blah. And I was about 16. I was thinking of going away on holidays. Like when I was 17, I was working on my mom and dad to allow me to do that, in saying that I wasn't even allowed out past 9:30. But I was working on, and I could never forget this. The mom goes, just make sure you save a little bit of money on the side, and even if you get a boyfriend, don't ever tell them that you have that money. And I was like, what? Yeah, you have to have your runaway money. And I thought, in my head, I always thought, oh, that means like if I wanted to not be with him, or wanted to go on a holiday or something like that. I never thought of abuse like that, because I've never been in that environment to even understand. And she said that her aunt told her that, you know, and she said it's something that is passed down and is said, especially in Irish culture, and I just never understood. And I think laughingly last year, before I read all this, I put it up on the page on my Instagram to say, oh, does anybody know about the runaway money? And I was shocked by some of the messages that I got privately, and I didn't ignore it. It was just, sometimes you don't expect to hear these situations, and because I'm only a human being, like, and if I'm naive to it, like, it's just something that I had to let sink into my system, and I had to think, how can I talk about this, because I'm coming from a place of maybe not even knowing, maybe not even being aware that could be around me. I'm in my own bubble, and that's not good enough, really, is it? It's not. So I always say, in order to, you know, be able to help people or be able to use this platform, I need to do a bit of research. And I came up with a few things that would, let's just get into the meaty stuff that could be happening and you might need to see. Somebody, you could be in a relationship with somebody and they're not allowing you to work. Now you listen to this, they're not allowing you to work. They're not allowing you to get the education that you need to work or to go back to work. They're just not allowed. It's a no. It's a not happening. You have no choice in this, and you're told you cannot do it. So they're stopping you from the means, from getting money. Yeah, from acquiring money, from getting money, from being in a situation where you can get some sort of economic resources for yourself. Not paying child maintenance when the time has come. It's like somebody knows that you are literally on, you know, your knees, and the time is coming to look after your kids, or paying, you have that dependency, and they're not paying the child allowance when they're meant to. That's a form of actual financial abuse as well. And by withholding that money, you're likely to stay in that environment. Like for me, like I said, I think financial abuse is the gateway to all the other abuse situation, where it's mental abuse, because we know if your finances aren't right, mentally you're always going to be worried, because you do need money as a resource to get through life right now. Having to explain where every penny goes. So you could be in a situation where you are happily married, but you're afraid to spend the housekeeper money that he gives you or she gives you, and you have to account for every single penny and where it goes. That is control. That is a way of controlling you and a way of controlling your actions. So be very, very, be aware of that. That is not normal. Not giving the victim their own money or credit cards. You might get your children allowance and it's swiped out your hand as soon as you get it. You have no access to your credit cards. You have no access to a bank account. You can't even open a bank account if you tried. That is not normal. That's not normal. That's not a normal situation. It's not a normal environment. No one should have that control over you. No one should be allowed to tell you how to live your life. You are a whole person on your own. They would maybe forge your signature, or maybe sign bills, put your name on bills where they have no way, no intention of paying or keeping up the repayments on it, and they're unapologetic about it. They're just using your name lightly to get you a bad credit score so you cannot move on and try again. That's another way of doing it. You know, that's like I said, that's a gateway to other forms of abuse. And I'd even say sexual abuse to a certain point. You know, you hear people that he won't give me the money unless I have a bit of sex with him. You know, that's mental abuse. You know, that's sexual abuse, because basically someone doesn't want to be with you, but they're in such a situation where they need to survive, and maybe they have kids, and they're just thinking, I need to feed my kids, so I need to do whatever, so I'm gonna have to just, you know, do that little bit so they could get that little bit. And it's a horrible situation for anybody to be in. I can only imagine the terror. And you know, I'm all about financial well-being, and I know, like, that's not normal. That's not a situation where you'd really want to be in or to be tolerating in your life. Those are a few of the examples of people that are in financial abuse. You might have somebody who's just come into your life and they're lovely, and before long they're encouraging you to quit your job, and that's a way of getting you vulnerable and getting you isolated from the people that are around you. And you never really thought of quitting your job, but you're thinking, you know what, I quit my job and he said or she said she'll look after me, and you know, maybe that's the way I should go. And it turns out then you're isolating from a whole group of people that, you know, that would have been spotting things that are going on and the abuse that you're probably going through. So think lightly. Make sure it's your idea if you want to quit your job. Make sure that you're the one that's happy with this. If it doesn't feel right in your gut, then trust your gut, trust your body. You know yourself better than anybody else. So you know a situation that does not feel right. Do not ignore it. Don't do that. Okay, don't ignore it, please. Yes, so that is what I will speak about today. I will leave it at that, and I will push on a little bit. So we spoke about financial abuse, and I kind of was thinking of something, and I was thinking like maybe we need an emergency fund, because the runaway money seems like more of an emergency fund. And you will see that I have my budget mindset planner, which I brought out myself, guys. Single mom doing it. I have the back there. See, I always don't think that because I don't react or reply to something straight away, please don't think that it's not something that I'm not thinking about. I just sometimes don't know the best way to go about it, and I have to let it settle in my system. But anyway, the back of the book, I have a suitcase, and maybe this is a way that you could make a suitcase a goal, and maybe do something like surveys. That might be a thing that you can do, where you're not physically getting any cash. It's something that you can easily have an app, but not really a lot of people even listen to surveys. Or, you know, I'll list a few surveys there now on the screen that you'll be able to do, and maybe I'll put a few in the thing down, the intro down the bottom. I don't know what it's called, but I'll put a few down there that maybe they might be helpful to you. And it's not that you're receiving cash, but you could be coloring your suitcase as you're getting closer to the amount. I have 100 suitcases there, so if you need €1,000 to get out, maybe you need €500 to get out. Every fiver that you save, you color in that suitcase, so you kind of know, and it's a bit of encouragement for you as well. The emergency fund is your runaway money in this situation, and we don't take that lightly. Even it means that you need to go and stay in a B&B somewhere for a while, and you know, until you get the resources or get the help that you need from somewhere else. Yeah, you're not alone, and if you feel that something isn't right, it probably isn't. Don't ignore your gut. Don't ignore the way you feel about a situation. You've been right before. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for watching this. I hope this was a little bit insightful, and I'll be coming on with a vlog later on in the week. Thanks very much. Bye. Bye bye.